So many people are doing all the right things, writing affirmations, visualizing, working harder than ever, and still feeling stuck. The truth is, it's not because you're doing too little, it's because you're trying too hard. The universe doesn't bend to pressure, it bends to energy. And when your energy is tense, desperate or restless, you unknowingly push away the very things you're calling in. Think of it like holding water in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. But when you relax your grip, the water stays with ease. Manifestation works the same way. Effort creates resistance. Alignment creates flow. In this video, you're going to discover why trying harder often slows your manifestation and how letting go actually speeds it up. We'll explore the hidden role of the subconscious mind, the magnetic power of emotions, and the subtle art of surrender that opens the door to quantum shifts. These are not just theories, they are principles rooted in energy, vibration, and the science of coherence. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, but not seeing results, stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish, you'll understand how to move from force into flow, and why the universe responds instantly when your inner state matches your desire. I am your guide from Mind Magic Co., and together we'll unlock the deeper truth of manifestation that most people miss. Welcome to our channel, a space where the unseen becomes clear and the impossible becomes natural. If you're ready to step into alignment and create with ease, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the wisdom we share here. Your shift begins now. There comes a moment in every journey where you realize that life isn't responding to what you're doing, it's responding to what you're being. You can spend hours working, pushing, and repeating affirmations, but if the vibration underneath it all is doubt, fear, or lack, the results will echo that same energy. The universe is like a mirror, and the quantum field is its reflection. It doesn't mirror your effort, it mirrors your frequency. Think about someone who walks into a room radiating calm confidence. They don't have to say much. People are drawn to them without effort. That's vibration at work. It's not in the words, it's not in the actions, it's in the energy they carry. Manifestation works in exactly the same way. When your inner state is aligned with trust, love, or abundance, the field organizes itself to reflect that back to you. But when your inner state is tangled in struggle, no amount of action can override the vibration that's being broadcast. This is why so many people feel stuck. They're trying to change outcomes at the level of effort, while the real shift happens at the level of being. The quantum field doesn't keep score of how many times you visualize or how hard you push. It reads coherence. It listens to the harmony between your thoughts, your feelings, and your energy. And when that harmony resonates, reality has no choice but to align. At Mind Magic Co., we call this the art of becoming instead of chasing. Because once you embody the vibration of the reality you desire, you're no longer reaching for it, it reaches for you. The shift is subtle, almost invisible, but it's here where the most powerful transformations take place. The conscious mind is like the tip of an iceberg, sharp, focused, but only a fraction of the whole. It works hard, makes plans, and pushes for outcomes. But beneath the surface lies the vast power of the subconscious and the energy field, an ocean that shapes the currents of our reality. When we rely only on the conscious mind, we fall into effort and struggle. We try to control every detail, forcing life to move on our timeline. And yet, the more we push, the more resistance we create. Think of rowing against a strong current. Every stroke feels exhausting, and no matter how determined you are, the water pushes back. That is struggle born of effort. But when you release the oars, allow the current to carry you, and adjust yourself into alignment, suddenly movement becomes effortless. That is the flow of energy. Manifestation begins when inner beliefs shift, when the subconscious accepts a new truth as normal. If deep within you the belief still says, "This is too hard, this is not for me," No amount of conscious pushing will override it. But the moment that belief changes, even slightly, reality begins to rearrange itself without struggle. Alignment is not about doing more, but about becoming more coherent inside. It's when your thoughts, emotions, and energy agree that agreement creates a magnetic field around you, and life responds to it with synchronicity, ease, and unexpected openings. The most powerful shifts often come not when we fight harder, but when we soften into trust. Effort can take you a few steps forward, but alignment opens doors you didn't even know existed. Struggle contracts your energy, flow expands it, and in expansion, manifestation happens naturally. There is a quiet strength in letting go, a kind of courage that doesn't shout but whispers, "I trust." Too often we confuse letting go with giving up. We think if we stop pushing, if we stop trying to control every step, then what we want will slip away. But the opposite is true. Letting go is not surrendering your dream, it's surrendering the resistance around it. Picture a seed planted in the soil. Once you place it there, you don't keep digging it up to check if it's growing. You water it, you give it light, and then you allow unseen forces to do their work. The seed knows what to become. In the same way, your desire already holds its own blueprint. Your role is not to force it into existence, but to align with it and allow it to unfold. When you release control, you create space for the quantum field to rearrange things in ways your conscious mind could never plan. The how and when are not your burden to carry. Trust becomes the bridge between where you are and what you're calling in. And that trust is what brings your energy into coherence with the outcome. Think of it as tuning a radio. If you're filled with fear, desperation, or impatience, you're on the wrong frequency. But the moment you trust, truly deeply, you shift the dial. You begin to broadcast a signal that matches the reality you want, and the field responds. Letting go is not the end of the journey. It is the opening. It is the moment you step aside and allow life to reveal pathways that force alone could never uncover. In trust, you align. In alignment, manifestation becomes inevitable. True transformation doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with believing differently. The conscious mind can set goals, create vision boards, and take endless action, but if the subconscious holds on to old patterns of lack, unworthiness, or fear, progress will always feel like walking uphill. Lasting change happens only when the deeper layers of the mind begin to accept a new story as truth. Think of a thermostat in a home. No matter how much heat or cold enters from outside, the thermostat always brings the temperature back to its set point. Your subconscious works in the same way. If it's set to scarcity, every effort you make toward abundance will eventually pull you back into struggle. But once that inner set point is shifted, once abundance feels normal, life rises to meet that expectation. This is why manifestation accelerates when the subconscious accepts love, success, or prosperity as a natural state. Suddenly, opportunities align without strain. People appear at the right moment. Doors that once seemed closed begin to open. It feels less like chasing and more like receiving. Reprogramming the subconscious is not about force, but about repetition with feeling. Affirmations spoken with genuine emotion, not mechanical words, begin to carve new pathways in the mind. Scripting, where you write about your desires as if they are already real, gently trains the subconscious to accept them as familiar. Visualization, infused with the feeling of already having it, bridges the gap between thought and vibration. With every repetition, the old story loses power. The new story gains strength. And once your subconscious aligns with your vision, effort becomes secondary. You no longer push against resistance. You flow with a current that was waiting for you all along. The universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you feel. Words are powerful, yes, but without the energy behind them, they are like empty shells. You can repeat affirmations 100 times, But if your heart is filled with fear or desperation, the vibration being broadcast is not alignment, it is lack, and the field reflects that lack back to you. Think of a time when someone smiled at you, but you could sense their frustration beneath the surface. You didn't respond to the smile, you responded to the energy. The universe works the same way. It listens beneath the words, tuning into the frequency that your emotions are sending out. Trying too hard often carries a subtle vibration of "I don't have it yet. I might never have it." That desperation creates resistance, like static on a radio signal. It pushes what you want further away. But when you shift into calm trust, when you feel genuine gratitude, as if your desire is already here, the energy becomes clear and magnetic. Gratitude, especially, is a signal of abundance. It tells the universe, "I already live in overflow, and more flows in naturally." This is why some of the most profound manifestations come not in moments of frantic effort, but in quiet states of faith. A calm heart, a trusting mind, and a grateful spirit send out a vibration that cannot be ignored. Alignment is not noisy, it is steady. It is coherence between your inner state and your desired reality. When you master the art of feeling before seeing, of trusting before proof arrives, you move into harmony with the field, and in that harmony, attraction is not something you chase, it becomes something you effortlessly allow. Energy speaks louder than language. You can speak affirmations all day, but if the energy behind them is restless or doubtful, the signal that reaches the universe is not abundance, it's fear. The universe does not respond to words written on paper or spoken into the air. It responds to the vibration that lives beneath them. Think of two people saying the same sentence, "I am worthy." One speaks it with a heavy heart, hoping it might someday become true. The other speaks it with calm certainty, feeling the truth of it in every cell. The words are identical, but the energy is worlds apart. It is the second voice that the universe echoes back, because emotion carries the true frequency. When you try too hard, you often send out an undertone of desperation. Desperation says, "I don't have it, I need it, I'm afraid I won't get it." That signal does not magnetize, it repels. It creates a gap between you and the thing you desire. The harder you grasp, the further it slips away. But calm trust feels different. It is steady, like standing by a river, knowing the water will always flow. Gratitude amplifies this trust. Gratitude is the vibration of already having, of recognizing fullness in the present moment. When you feel grateful, even before your desire has appeared, you tune yourself to the frequency of receiving. Manifestation is not about convincing the universe with words, it's about becoming coherent within yourself. When your emotions carry peace, trust, and appreciation, you broadcast a signal of abundance, and life, as it always does, mirrors that back to you. In that state, attraction stops being a struggle. It becomes the most natural response to the energy you embody. There is a certain heaviness that comes from trying to control every detail of life. When the mind is busy calculating, planning, and pushing, the energy it sends out becomes scattered. Over-effort fills the field with noise, and that noise drowns out the clarity of your intention. The universe responds best to coherence, but when your signal is tangled in worry and overthinking, it cannot deliver with precision. Think of a radio station. If the frequency is crowded with static, you can't hear the music clearly. In the same way, your desires are already broadcasting from the quantum field, but if your energy is cluttered with resistance, the song of your manifestation is muffled. Surrender is what clears the static. Surrender is not about abandoning your dreams, it's about stepping back and allowing space for the unseen to arrange itself. It's about trusting that the field knows pathways you cannot see, and when that space opens, shifts often arrive suddenly, almost out of nowhere. What you thought required years can align in moments, because you finally allowed the current to carry you. Miracles rarely come through micromanagement. They come when we loosen our grip, when we stop demanding that life unfold in a specific way, and when we allow higher intelligence to weave its design. Some of the most life-changing moments appear in the quiet after release, in the pause where you stop forcing and start trusting. Energy alignment is not about doing more, it's about doing less with greater presence. When you clear the noise of over-effort, the signal becomes pure, and in that purity manifestations arrive, not as distant goals, but as sudden, almost magical shifts that remind you the universe was always listening. There is a clear difference between action that comes from pressure and action that comes from alignment. Forced action is heavy. It feels like dragging yourself uphill, questioning every step, wondering if it will even matter. Doubt lingers in the background, and the more you push, the more drained you become. This kind of effort is rooted in fear, the fear that if you don't do enough, life won't respond. But the universe doesn't answer to fear, it answers to energy. Inspired action, on the other hand, carries a completely different frequency. It feels light, effortless, almost as if something greater is guiding you. You don't overthink it, you simply feel nudged in a direction, and when you follow, everything flows with surprising ease. Timing feels perfect. Resources line up. People appear in ways you couldn't have orchestrated yourself. Inspired action is not forced, it is invited by alignment. Consider the difference between forcing open a locked door and walking through one that swings wide as you approach. When your energy is scattered and desperate, doors feel sealed shut. But when your vibration is calm, trusting and coherent, the universe opens pathways without resistance. This is why inner alignment matters more than constant hustle. The shift happens when you stop acting from fear of lack and begin moving from the knowing that your desire already exists. That knowing draws opportunities into your path, and your role becomes simply to walk through them. Every step taken in alignment carries more power than 100 steps taken in pressure. The universe doesn't require struggle. It responds to clarity. And when your actions are inspired, they no longer deplete you, they energize you, because you are flowing with life, not against it. Every dream you hold has already been created in the field of potential. It exists as energy, as possibility, waiting for you to align with it. Just because you cannot see it yet, does not mean it isn't real. The invisible always comes before the visible, just as the roots grow beneath the soil before the first sprout breaks through the ground. The challenge is that the conscious mind craves proof. It wants signs, results, and timelines. When nothing seems to move, impatience creeps in, and we fall back into pushing and forcing. But manifestation doesn't respond to impatience, it responds to trust. Trust is the quiet knowing that your desire is already on its way, even when there is no evidence yet. Think of waiting for a package you ordered online. You don't doubt the delivery because you can't see it in your hands, you trust it's moving toward you. The same principle applies to your manifestations. Once you set the intention and align your energy, the process has already begun. Constantly checking, worrying, and pushing only slows it down because it sends out the vibration of lack. Patience is not passive. It is powerful. It says, I believe so deeply in what I've called in that I don't need proof to trust it. And when patience is paired with alignment, when your emotions, beliefs, and energy remain steady, the unfolding often happens faster than if you had tried to control it. The universe responds to coherence, not pressure. Each moment you rest in faith, rather than force, you accelerate the process. Your role is not to chase what you want, but to trust that it already exists, and to hold the vibration that welcomes it into form. A quantum shift is never about pushing harder, it's about softening into trust. When you release the struggle, when you let go of the need to control every step, you create space for life to meet you in ways far greater than your effort alone could allow. The universe is always responding, not to how much you do, but to who you are being. When your subconscious beliefs begin to align with your vision, when your emotions resonate with gratitude and calm trust, and when your energy carries the frequency of already having what you desire, reality begins to reflect that alignment. This is the true essence of manifestation, not force but flow. As you move through your days, notice where you're straining and gently choose to shift into allowing. Practice trust. Embody gratitude. Step into the energy of already being who you wish to become. That is where the quantum shift unfolds. Thank you for joining me in this journey of insight and reflection. If this message resonated with you, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Mind Magic Co., where we continue to explore the unseen truths of manifestation and the power within you. May your path be light, your heart at peace, and your manifestations flow with ease.